everybody. Right now we're heading to my logging spot. We're going up to where I put the rope spool. I didn't show that on camera, I just wanted to get it over with. But I'm going to show you guys where I put it now. And I set up a tarp so that, it doesn't rain on the rope, because when it rains on sisal rope it gets all bound up and it's really not fun to untangle. And so I wanted to show you guys how I set up the block and tackle on the rope itself. And then I wanted to show you guys a cool knot that I use to pull the logs with my truck. So I'm gonna get to that. Okay, so I've got my block and tackle here. Well, actually, these are the blocks. That's the tackle. As far as I know. As far as I know, that's the correct terminology for both things. So I'm going to show you all how to set these up. So bring your rope out a little bit. You want to have slack, quite a bit of slack, so that you can sorry, hold on. You want to have quite a bit of slack so it's easier to actually get those block and tackle on, or the blocks. There are already mosquitoes out. It's not but like 9:30. Man. Okay. So I've got a single block here with a swivel attachment, which comes in handy when I actually go to log, and I'll show you guys a little more about that swivel attachment, which helps with unwinding the rope if it has a tendency to spin, which mine does. And then I've got boy, I don't know what these are called, but a two-wheeled block. I'll go into a little more in detail of the difference between the wheels and why you want more wheels and why I chose these, but I'm just going to show you how to set it up really quick. So this is going to be the tie-off point. This bit right here that I'm pointing to. That's going to be the tie-off point, which means, because this is the end of the rope, that is going to be the last point that I tie onto. So what I actually want to do is reverse my thoughts of where it's going to go. So normally I would think, okay, tie it off here, then wind it through everything. That's not the case. You have to wind it through everything and then tie it off. So I take my big block and my little block, and you want them to be, you want the hooks to oppose each other, to have opposing sides. Make sure y'all can see that. Yes, you can. Fantastic. Alright, I just lost my hand. Okay, there we go. Now, take your rope, and you're going to take the end of the rope and weave it through one of the wheels of your biggest block, just like that. So you weave it through one of the wheels of your biggest block, and the reason I'm weaving it through the biggest block first is because this only has one wheel, so it only has one rotation, but I want both rotations on this side. on this bigger block. So I go through the biggest one first, then through the little one. Sorry, my rope is a little frayed. And I just stuff it through there. Okay. So it's gone through the biggest one. Now it's gone through the little one. Take some of that slack, pull it through. Right. Bring that slack through here. Perfect. Then take the end of your rope and go back through the biggest one, through the big block. And I made this mistake when I first got these, but you want to really take care of your blocks, because you know they're tools, just like an axe is a tool. These are a tool. So you don't want them to get rained on, you don't want them to get wet, you don't want to drop them in a puddle, but you also want to keep them oiled, and because these wheels are metal on metal contact, and so if they're not oiled, then they can have a tendency to really wear down. So you want to just take like 3-in-1 is a good oil, or if you've got honing oil, that's pretty good, but usually for metal on metal contact, you want to use a petroleum-based oil, which, you know, isn't very great for the planet, but I've found that works the best. Because usually if you use natural oils, they can tend to go rancid or go gummy, especially in this kind of humidity. So, you know, just a little tiny bit, just get a little bottle of 3-in-1, use a little tiny bit, you know, get those going, and it'll last you forever, you know. It's also good for door frames. Another thing you could use is Crisco. Crisco could work, because I don't think Crisco goes bad. Melt down some Crisco, that would work. Okay, so we've already gone through this second wheel of the biggest block, and now we're going through this tie-off point on the little block. And, well, what we're going to do, that's sorry, little plant. There we go. Okay, so now we are actually just going to tie it off. So I just do a real simple knot. Like, I just, you know, I loop it through. I take this and the end of the rope, go over, and then just like you would tie a little pretzel knot, you tie the pretzel knot over the main rope, just like that. Super duper simple. And you don't really need to go crazy, because the way this is positioned is you're not pulling on, you're not really going to be pulling on that knot, if that makes any kind of sense. So like even just this kind of force, it's not moving, it's not budging, nothing. So that's where you want it. Now we can take up the slack and wind it back onto our spool. There we go. I'll be right back. Okay, and there you go. You have set up your block and tackle. Now, I don't think I'm going to show you all how to use it today. I want to do a little bit of work in my shop, but I just wanted to show you guys how you set up your block and tackle, and I was also going to show you all how I tie a knot for hauling with my truck. And it's been one of the most useful knots I think I've ever encountered. And I store it like this I'm gonna turn y'all over here to show you how I store it. Okay, there we go. So, got my block and tackle here. I take up most of the slack, and you know what? This thing really works very nicely. I'm impressed with how well it works. And then to make sure, I don't think it will, but just to make sure that my rope don't go nowhere, is I just wrap it around here a few times, crisscrossing. Just like that. Take your block and tackle, store it on there. Just like that. Get that up out of the water. If there is water, if there's any kind of flooding, then you don't necessarily want that. Okay, now what I'm going to teach you how to tie is a knot called the lark's head knot. I don't know why it's called that, I just know that it is. And it is an incredibly simple knot. And my favorite part about it is that you can tie this knot in the middle of the rope, not the end, which is perfect for an application like this, because you've got the spool of rope and you've got the block and tackle, but you need an anchor point so that you can actually haul it out without pulling rope off of or without just, not pulling. And so, you may be inclined to do something like this, wrap it around a few times, which it works, but it can slip off, which isn't fun. Make sure y'all can see that. Okay, yes you can. Fantastic. Okay, super simple. Well, okay, this is better. So you have your palms facing up, and you put the rope on your palms, and you twist it over like this to where your knuckles are now like this. Does that make sense? Hopefully y'all saw that. Okay, so then after you have that, you now have a lark's head knot, which you can then take this lark's head knot and put it onto, say, this, and pull it tight. Now this thing ain't going anywhere, and it's also an even pulling knot, so you're not going to have some kind of imbalance. It's not going to be imbalanced, and you're not going to snap your line any more than you would just pulling a single line. So the way this works is this line that I'm holding on to is connected to my block and tackle. This line is connected to my spool. And so when I pull on the block and tackle line, say my truck is moving forward, it's pulling on the block and tackle, but it's not just slipping away from the spool. So this is a really great knot. I encourage you to, try and use it in whatever manner you can, and I like this knot a whole lot. Alright, so sorry, excuse me. I showed you guys how to set up the block and tackle. I showed you guys the lark's head knot. Hopefully those things were helpful. But I do have one other thing that I wanted to tell you guys about. If you guys really want to understand how these block and tackle work, I would recommend that you guys go and check out Smarter Every Day. He has a video that is completely based on how pulleys work and how pulleys are going to give you an advantage. And I'll leave the link in the description so that y'all can just go straight to that video and learn about how that stuff works. Really cool video, and I also recommend that you guys just watch all of his videos because he knows a lot of stuff and it's really cool to watch. So definitely recommend that you guys watch that, and I'll see you guys in a little bit. I'm gonna go